Meanwhile, the Lubbock Health Department is warning of another pest, mosquitoes, and the detection of West Nile virus in the area. The health department tells us the Biological Threat Research Lab at Texas Tech notified some mosquitoes have tested positive. It's a virus the insects pick up from infected birds and then threaten humans with its bite. People 50 and older or those with health issues are at a higher risk of becoming seriously ill, but everyone's encouraged to take steps to reduce bites, like wearing repellent, covering up, limiting outdoor time during dusk and dawn, and getting rid of standing water around your home.